All right, today we're going to tackle a topic that, let's be honest, can make a lot of people nervous, polynomials. But we're going to start in a really unexpected place. Not with a bunch of numbers, but with a question about what you believe. So, what do you think? Seriously, is being good at math just something you're born with or not? Your answer to that question might actually be the biggest key to whether you can learn something like this. Okay, so let's get into this. A lot of us feel like our intelligence is just set in stone. That's called the fixed mindset. But there's another way to look at it, the growth mindset, which is the idea that our brains can get stronger with effort. The big takeaway here isn't about how smart you are, it's that how you think about learning can completely change your ability to learn. This really breaks it down, right? The fixed mindset basically says you get what you get, and that's it. Your skills are what they are. But the growth mindset, it sees your brain more like a muscle. The more you work it out with good strategies, the stronger it gets. You can actually improve. And this is where the rubber really meets the road. When you hit something difficult, a fixed mindset tells you it's a brick wall, a sign to just stop. But a growth mindset sees that same wall and thinks, okay, this is a puzzle. How do I get around it or over it? So remember this, challenges aren't stop signs. They're actually the path. So, keeping that in mind, let's turn to our first challenge. We're not going to look at polynomials as this big, scary monster. We're going to treat them as our first puzzle to solve with our new growth mindset. Yeah, I know. You look at an expression like this and it seems pretty intimidating. But here's the secret. It's really just a bunch of simple pieces stuck together. You see, we've got a leading coefficient, something called a degree, and these things called terms. Our whole strategy is just to understand them one piece at a time. So let's start with the most basic building block of all, a term. What is it? It's just each of the individual chunks being added or subtracted. That's it. It's the first piece of our puzzle, and it's pretty simple. All right, next up, the degree. It sounds like a fancy word, but all it means is the highest exponent you can find in the whole expression. See that little n up there? That's what we're talking about. It's what gives the polynomial its personality, its type. And finally, we've got the leading coefficient. That's just the number that's attached to that most powerful term, the one with the highest degree. And that's it. Terms, degree, leading coefficient. You now know the entire anatomy of a polynomial. See? Not so bad. Now, remember how we said the growth mindset is all about using effective strategies? Well, when it comes to multiplying polynomials, we have an absolutely fantastic one. This isn't about guessing. It's about having a clear plan. So, let's meet our new best friend for this, the FOIL method. It's a super simple memory trick that helps you multiply two of these things together, and it turns a potentially confusing calculation into 4 easy-to-follow steps. FOIL just stands for first, outer, inner, last. It's a roadmap. You multiply the first terms in each parentheses. Then you multiply the 2 outermost terms. After that, the 2 innermost terms. And finally, you multiply the last terms in each parentheses. It's a simple checklist that guarantees you get it right every time. Okay, so we know what a polynomial is, and we've got a strategy to work with them. Now it's time to put our new tools to the test and answer that classic age-old question, right? We have all been there, sitting in class, thinking, this is great and all, but how does this help me in real life? It's a totally fair question, and it deserves a real answer. So let's take a look at this. It's a simple diagram of a house. We're going to use the exact ideas we just learned to figure out the area of this shape. This is where the abstract letters and numbers become a real tool for solving a real problem. So let's see how this works. We can describe each piece of the house with a simple little expression. Look at the door, for example. Area is width times height. So if its width is x and height is 1, its area is just x. And we can do the same for the main part of the house. When you want to find the total area, you combine these expressions. And what do you end up with? A polynomial expression. We just used it to describe a real-world shape. So let's just pause here for a second. It doesn't matter if you found that last part easy or hard. What matters is you just engaged with a complex idea, you learned a strategy, and you saw how to apply it. You just walked the path of a learner. And this quote brings us full circle, right back to that mindset chart from the beginning. By breaking down polynomials and using a strategy to apply them, you literally just created your own learning pathway. That is the growth mindset in action. And that's really the big takeaway here. This idea of a math person, it's a myth. Learning anything, especially math, isn't about some innate talent. It's about believing you can improve, embracing the hard stuff, and finding the strategies that work for you. You just tackled polynomials. You proved you can learn something that might have seemed impossible before. So the only real question left is, with this mindset, what challenge are you ready to take on next?